Welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron, and my drink today is a very large iced coffee, as I need the caffeine to get back into the land of the living. On the platter today, we've got sugar and spice. I don't know what this is. I got it, I believe, at a thrift store or something along those lines. I've never actually listened to it, so we're gonna learn about it together. Of course, a random hat. We need to have a random hat. That is not a problem, as I have this guy. Panama City Beach, PCB. Yes, sir. Just got back from there. Yesterday morning, I was standing on the Gulf of Mexico on the soft white sands, and some scant 17 hours and 15 minutes later, here I am back in a basement in Wisconsin. We arrived at about 12:15 last night. That is me driving straight through. Fucking machine. It's good. I'm getting old. I got this hip when I sit too long. Everything, it's fucking terrible. Every time I get out of the car, I'm going across the parking lots like that. I can't move. The drive down was reasonably pleasant. Let me give you a quick rundown of how everything went. So we leave like last Wednesday morning, I believe it was. We drove, it was supposed to be about 9 hours to get down to Nashville. Of course, by the time you add your stops and the 2 or 3 one-lane restrictions that we ran into, it wound up being about 11 hours. A couple of the one-lane restrictions were just construction. They narrowed it down. It sucked. But one of them, there was a friggin' accident, and I mean on the other side of the interstate, past the concrete barriers. They must have hit so fucking hard, part of their shit was over on our side, and they had to close down that lane. Why they couldn't just move the fucking bumper and reopen the lane, I don't know, but we were backed up there for quite some time. Of course, we made a stop through in Illinois, where I got some delicious gummy treats, and etc., etc. Yeah. Which is nice. You go into the dispensary, you can either pre-do your order right online, or else you go in and give them your ID, the whole shenanigans, and then you go to a little pad and you scroll through the products and punch in your order. That's what I did. So those were delicious. We got down to Nashville, and that was pretty cut and dried. It wanted to said being 11 hours, so instead of being there with plenty of time, I wanted to go to Martin's barbecue joint. We've been there about 7-8 years ago on the recommendations of Kings of Leon. They said that's they're Memphis barbecue guys, but as far as Nashville went, Martin's was their place. Well, since that time, they seem to have expanded. I believe there's like 4 locations in Nashville. So I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't know if this is like the 4th location we went to, or we went on a slow day. I wasn't impressed. We went 7 years ago. We got there late on like a Friday, which if you know anything about barbecue, don't do that, because they cook it all for 7, 8, 12, 14, however many hours. And when it's out, you don't just go whip up a new batch. It takes another 6, 7, 12, 14 hours, whatever it is. So when shit's gone, it's gone. I didn't get to try the brisket 7 years ago, so I wanted to get there early this time. We got there early. I got the brisket. It was okay. I'm, as I previously mentioned, in Wisconsin. I've got a smokehouse, we'll call it, down the road in Cassville, Wisconsin, right on the river. Anchor Inn, fantastic. I actually prefer the Anchor Inn to what I got at Martin's this trip. Also have Bob's Bitchin' Barbecue up in Dodgeville, 40 miles from me, something like that. And frankly, I've had better luck there. So I don't know if I just got a bad day, a bad batch, a bad location, but I wasn't impressed. So from there, we had to go find the Taylor Swift bench, as it's called. Where she used to sit in some park and wrote some songs about or something. They put in a bench with a little plaque. Of course, you practically have to wait around for people to leave so you can get access to the bench. But we did that. We took our pictures, magnolias and whatnot, and I flipped everything off because we're in Tennessee. So anytime anything came up, let's go over this bridge. It's probably racist. Look at that. Who's the plaque? Oh, Yeah, look at that last name. Yep, pretty sure this is a racist bridge. Fuck you, racist bridge. River probably racist too. Fuck you, racist river. So that's what I did in Tennessee. We left the hotel. We were on the third floor. They had nice wide wooden steps. They were good for walking up and down. They took the dog up and down. Doesn't make a little fucker work, all right? When you're on vacation, you're in the car, you're driving a long time. He doesn't get a lot of steps in, is what I'm trying to tell you. So when we get to the hotel, I make that little fucker work. No elevators for you, Ted Jansen. We're going up and down stairs. So we did that most of the night until the way according to my CSI skills, when you see this little trail which leads to a big pile, you realize someone threw up and then ran away while they did it. And that was at the top of the second step. So I was like, all right, Ted Jansen, we'll take the elevator. So the next morning we pack up to leave, and there's just a gallon of milk on the ledge outside. I walked Teddy boy at about 6:30, something like that. Yeah, the milk was there. So we're packing up to leave, getting ready to pull out of the parking lot, and the maintenance, whatever, he worked there with a thick accent and a mask on, kept inquiring to whether this was my milk. And I was there, I said, no, the milk has been there since 6:30, man. I don't know. It's like 8 or 9 now. Like, that milk's been out in the Tennessee. No. Not my milk. I had to say it like 4 times. And eventually, I just got in the Jeep and fucking drove away. It was like, do whatever you want with the milk. Don't involve me in it. Well, I don't want to throw it away and then have somebody say that milk went to that Jeep. I'm like, no. Just fucking... You and the milk, this is between you two. Leave me out of this. I'm leaving this godforsaken state. Because we drove through Illinois, down and diagonal. Illinois is a long state. But the Illinois part was pleasant. As soon as we got into Tennessee, everybody's fucking dumb. The roads got tighter. Semis passing each other. Everybody thinks it's NASCAR. Only none of them are any fucking good at NASCAR. So, yeah, I mean, you have a nice flow going and some asshole skirt around you at 90 and then wedge in because, there was enough room for a car and a quarter between me and the one in front of me as we're running at 80 miles an hour. Like, oh yeah, sandwich in there, fucking Jeff Gordon. And I know, I picked Gordon on purpose. No, that was an insult. I didn't call this asshole Earnhardt. I call him Slow Dale. Slow down, Slow Dale. Anyway, from there all the way down to PCB. It was a good trip down. I'm not going to tell you about the trip because that's going to be a different episode. But what I will do is tell you about the trip back up because that's what I'm still on. Delicious. I needed this. We got back, I said, about 12:15. You still got to kind of try to decompress a little bit. Of course, everybody slept the whole way up. So now we get home. So my wife's going to have TV on. Like, I need to fucking sleep. I need it dark. I need it fucking quiet and bed. So I went to sleep on the couch. But, yeah, I got about 9:30. So I got 8 hours. I feel pretty good, considering. Of course, I didn't drink yesterday, which was, first time in about 8 days. So that could contribute. But you may notice that I look like if Stuart Rhodes weren't an insurrectionist asshole. That's kind of the ensemble I got going here. I might have mentioned about 9-10 months ago, I got poked in the eye pruning a tree as I went down, stabbed in the eye with a pointy stick. So here we are this many months later, and when I sleep, my eye will dry out and the eyelid will stick to the part that's trying to heal, and when I open my eye, it rips it off, which happens to be right over the pupil. So not only does everything go blurry on me, but then my depth perception is all fucked up as my right eye tries to adjust to a blurry left eye, but then it starts watering, and then if you know anything about tears, that's salt water. So you're getting salt water in an open eye wound, which makes it sting and water more, so your face is just covered in tears, your eyes bright red, you can't see, very disorienting. So this happens to me, of course, at about 3 a.m. when I'm planning on hitting the road at about 6:30. So I got a 16. No, it says 16, but I said you gotta add stops, whatnot. So I got a long drive ahead of me, and my eye is now all fucked up. So I tried to get all packed up the night before, so you can just take off and go. As I'm loading the car, we got hit with a big fucking storm. Like somebody's pounding on the room of the hotel. My kid went to get ice cream across the street at Monkey Licks. I'll get to it. So she, in the span it took her to go get ice cream and walk back across the street, a fucking storm hit with, I don't know, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. Because we opened the one door, we opened that to let her in and whipped everything else open. It was crazy. So I didn't load the car up, had extra time doing that in the morning. Ted Jansen out and walked on the beach one last time, loaded up in the car. We got out at 7, which is a little later than I wanted to, but here we go. We're locked in for the cruise. So I punch it in, and my niece had actually messaged, she's over by St. Louis, and she's like, hey, if you guys want to stop on your way back, we're like, hey, maybe if we break this trip up, that's what we'll do. But I punched it in, and the GPS said St. Louis. To add it as a stop would have added like 5 hours on the drive. So we were gung-ho to do it, and then when we got to that last day, everybody was like, no, just home. Like, this is the longest trip we've ever taken for one of these. It was, yeah, eight days gone was plenty. So everybody just wanted to go home. Well, we get routed, it sends me a totally different way, which actually puts me right next to St. Louis. So why I didn't do that the first time, like when I added St. Louis as a stop, you'd think it would have gone, oh, why don't you just go this route? And now it adds 20 minutes. So no, now that we're not planning on going, it puts us right by there. So we get out of Florida after a couple hours. Florida drive wasn't bad, it was early. We get into Alabama. Alabama's a lot of 55 double lanes, man. The more you get to the top, it starts to, be a little more interstate-y. I don't know that it is an interstate, because once you get through Alabama into fucking Tennessee, not only do the roads instantly start to get packed, but everybody gets dumped. This is the shit I was talking about earlier. All right, so you're flying. Now let me tell you something, guys. I don't know if you know this. The left lane that you get in, that lane is for the people going fast. See, the right lane over here, that's just the regular lane. So if you want to go fast, you get out of this lane and you go into that lane. Now believe me, as a guy who likes to set his cruise, sometimes I'm just going a little faster than these guys. They want to go 75, let's just use this whole thing. Let's say the speed limit is standard 70. It fluctuates as you go, but that's not important right now. What's important here is 70 is the standard. So that's my reference point for here on out. So let's say everybody over here is going 70, and I decide, well, I'm gonna go 75. So I go out in the other lane and I set my cruise. Now when this asshole comes flying up on you, you know what that means? That means he wants to go fast and he's in the fast lane. So you know what you do? Then you get over and let the fucking guy go fast. And if you want to go fast again, then you move back over and resume your speed. Now I realize there's some things that can happen where that's not always easily an available option. But let me tell you, that's how it's supposed to work. Okay? So when you're in this lane driving and then you come over to this lane, and this guy's going his speed over here, you have to go at least his speed, preferably faster. You know how many people I saw hanging out in the fast lane just getting passed by guys going the normal speed? Like, it's bad enough if you're going 70 in the fast lane of a 70, but to go 65, like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to test my patience? Are you seeing if we can fucking make this eyeball burst with pressure? Because you're doing it, you're doing a good job. We had a lot of that shit. And none of these fucking semis, when you get into Tennessee, they like, this guy wants to go 70. Well, this guy wants to go 72. So he gets over, and then you've got this 5-minute game where the semi on the left just barely inches past him, and you're holding up the whole fucking show. And now, like I said, that's when this guy coming behind me going fucking 90 sees the right lane's wide open. He's like, look at all these cars in the left lane. Ah, fucking idiots, I'm gonna go in the right lane. So he goes over there and he flies up. Well, that's when he gets to the back of a semi and realizes, oh shit, I'm on a road, and sandwiches it in front of me because I have left a reasonable space between me and the car in front of me. You're supposed to leave a whole lot of car lengths. I realize when we're in a fucking situation like this, that's not possible. I'm getting right up there. I'm not quite drafting, but I'm getting right up in there. So when this fucker sandwiches in, there's literally no fucking window for him, okay? There's a car length and a quarter. So he fucking slammed like, you fucking... This was Tennessee all the way through. Everybody thought they were fucking Dale Earnhardt. I don't know what was fucking going on. But instantly, we get out of Tennessee and it's like, whoop, the road just clears. And I'm like, oh, this is easy. Flew back up through Illinois. Like I said, it sent us a whole different way. But yeah, a couple of stops. Ted Jansen was great on the trip. He basically peed every time I needed gas. He barely ever whined. So yeah, I am back in the state, recuperating my eye because I need it. And apparently sugar and spices run out, which means I've run out of time. So for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.